Chapter 29. Summer's POV. I called Alpha Jackson from the wagon while we were on the way to the edge of the territory. I didn't know much, so I told him what I knew. I jumped out of the wagon as soon as it arrived, rushing with the men to put on a waterproof suit. When Rain questioned what I was doing. "What does he mean? What am I doing?" I told him that I may be needed if he is injured and unconscious, as it would mean his wolf is as well. "I just hope I can get close enough to stand his aura. He is the king after all, and the more powerful the wolf the stronger their aura, but if Rain can withstand it, I am sure I can. We have the same genes, after all." We all put on an oxygen mask and carry a cylinder when we enter the wolfsbane mist. I am intrigued as how this was done. The chemist that created it is a genius. I can't say I am not nervous. I am shitting bricks, to be honest. But a man's life is in danger, not just a man. The king. I also know Rain would protect me at all costs. We successfully enter the mist. Alexis tells me she is scared. But we press on. We get nearer the car. We can't see if the king is breathing or not. The car is on its roof and the king is being held in place by his seatbelt. At least he had his seatbelt on, otherwise he would have been in some serious trouble. If he is alive, we need to act quickly and keep him contained in the car until we get him into the fresh air. If he isn't breathing, he needs to be pulled out into the mist and rushed to the hospital. Being exposed to the mist could kill him if he is alive though. It is decided that as I am the smallest and probably the nimblest of everyone here, I will slip into the car and assess if he is breathing or not. On Rain's count of 3, he opens the door and I slip right in. It must have been less than 3 seconds to close the door behind me. The king is being suspended by his seatbelt and all of his weight is put on his chest, but I can see the vein in his neck throbbing. I gave Rain a thumbs up. The car is then jolted forwards, as all the men are pushing it, towards the territory border, towards safety. The passenger door was opened, and I crawled out of the car. I take off my protective clothing and discard it while the royal guard rotate the car carefully into its upright position. I have to admire their teamwork, but time is of the essence. I move to the driver's side door when Rain opens it. I saw it before Rain did, but I am trained too. The king has a needle sticking out of his arm. Rain cuts his seatbelt from around him. Someone goes to grab him when I yell at them to stop. All eyes are on me as I remove the needle, pulling apart the needle from the syringe. I take a quick sniff. Wolfsbane. I offer it to Rain and he takes a sniff. He looks me in the eyes and nods. The ball is now in my court. He is officially wolf-less right now. It's strange how his aura is still quite powerful even without his wolf present though, and how I am not affected. I need him at the hospital right now. I tell Rain. We need to get him there as soon as smoothly as possible, no sudden movements, and keep his body in a straight line as much as possible. Elizabeth arrives with a neck brace, which I apply immediately. We don't want to cripple him. His wolf may not be able to repair the damage. The blue moon effects will set in 2 days, meaning he will certainly be wolf-less for 4 full days. I see Alpha Jackson and Florence as I head towards the transporting wagon. I leave the men to remove his body from the car. I don't want to see what they are about to do. No doubt I would disagree with their methods. But they have to do it quickly and efficiently. Alpha Jackson asks me what has happened. I honestly don't know, but what I do know is that he has been injected with wolfsbane. I don't know how much yet. The car was surrounded by wolfsbane mist. He is alive, barely. We need to get him to the hospital. Rogues. Florence stated with a disgusted look on her face, crying as the king's body was being placed on a stretcher. I don't think so. Rogues wouldn't use explosives, injectable wolfsbane, or have the money or connections to make wolfsbane into that mist which surrounded his car. I suspect something else is going on here. But I am sure the investigation, the Royal Guard, will answer all of our questions. She thinks about it for a moment, then her face starts becoming angry. I don't know why, maybe they have enemies. I don't care though, I have a job to do. Me and Elizabeth jump on the wagon as the king's body is placed in the back, but she can't stand his aura and has to climb back out. Shit, I am on my own here. Rain and a man named Adam jumped in the back of the wagon with me. I don't know where he came from, but he is livid. As I am checking the king's vital signs, I hear Adam and Rain bickering. Listen boys, I have work to do, and I can't hear anything over you two bickering like an old married couple, so either shut up or get out. They both look at me, but they shut up. I don't know what I am going to do in the operating theater. His aura means only certain people can come in, and I don't have time to mess around vetting people. Within seconds, Adam offers to assist. I don't have a choice and accept. Rain, Evie is out of town. Call Alpha Jackson and tell him to get the kids brought to the hospital after they finish school. You got this, Summer. Giving me a reassuring smile. I know, bro, but I need to make sure the kids are safe. Something I should know here? Adam says, looking between us. Rain answers. Adam. Meet my baby sister, Summer. He looks shocked. Sister. That would be me. I would shake your hand, Adam, but I am a bit busy right now. Does this guy have a name, by the way? Nathan. They both say at once. We pulled up outside of the hospital. Rain, get him brought to my operating room. Adam, you're with me. I take Adam into the changing and we don a pair of scrubs each. He follows me to the scrub room. He looked very nervous as I start scrubbing and preparing. I ask him how he knows Nathan and Rain, trying to lighten the mood. But he is concentrating too much on what he is doing. He is trying his best. I heard them opening the doors just before the operating room. I shouted through to strip all of his clothes off and put a gown on him. Once we are all ready, we go through. Adam looks like he is going to be sick already, and we haven't even started yet. I do hope he isn't squeamish. Chapter 30. Summer's POV. It was Rain that stripped Nathan's clothes. He was covered by a sheet as the trolley was wheeled through to us. Rain shouted through the door that he had left his underwear on. Elizabeth followed a few seconds afterwards, but stood at the edge of the room. She could be helpful for a few bits, I suppose. Just before we transferred him to my table, Elizabeth informed me that he hadn't had any bloods taken, nor was he cannulated. I stared at her, but she couldn't see my face through my surgical mask. I knew it wasn't her fault or that anyone else could do it. But why didn't someone remind me before I scrubbed in? She prepares me 2 cannulation trays and sends them my way. I couldn't miss his veins if I tried. His arms are huge and so veiny. As the blood starts filling my vials, Adam tells me he feels sick. I just glared at him. Are you serious? He sways a little, but manages to regain his composure. I gave the vials to Elizabeth to run to the lab and start cannulating the other arm. Adam asks why he needs 2. I quickly explained to him that he has wolfsbane in his system which needs flushing out. The blood we have taken will tell us what his organs are doing, so we know what condition his organs are in and how hard I can push the fluids. If we can get his organs working properly, the wolfsbane will stay in his system and may kill him. I look up at the observation gallery and I see Rain, Florence and Alpha Jackson. They are probably checking I am doing everything to help the king. While Elizabeth was taking the blood to the lab, I set up a couple of bags of intravenous fluids and started my next job. A job I would have expected to have been done. Bloody King's aura, I think to myself. Thankfully, I am not affected by it. I want to get my job started, not do the preparation work. I took my surgical mask off for the time being as it's not needed right now. Adam did the same. I told Adam I needed Nathan's underwear taken off. Now if I wasn't acting in a professional capacity, I would have bent over laughing at the facial expressions Adam was making. He was reluctant at first, but I wasn't kidding, I wanted his underwear removed. When I started ruffling under Nathan's sheet, Adam soon jumped in to help me. Elizabeth returned, saw what I was doing, prepared a catheterization kit and sent it my way. I cleaned my hands once again and returned ready. Elizabeth, black out the observation gallery please, just for a few minutes, we have some personal work to do. I looked up, so they knew it would only be for a short while. Elizabeth hits a switch and they disappear. Right, Adam, hold this. Holding up Nathan's penis. You are having a laugh, aren't you? What? I respond. You want me to hold Nathan's cock? With my hands? Yes. I need to catheterize him. I gestured to the bags of intravenous fluids. What goes in must come out. I am not having him pissing all over. Now hold it, I need to prepare. Seriously, you want me to hold the king's cock in my hands? Yes. Have you never held a man's penis before? Only my own. Well, tomorrow you can't say that. Now hold it. Nathan is a big man, I may have taken pleasure in holding him myself. But right now, my sick sense of humor is getting a kick out of Adam's reaction. Right now, Adam was looking away, chanting, but doing as I asked. This never happened, if I don't look it never happened. Repeatedly. It reminded me of my kids when they were younger and they would cover their eyes, telling me if they couldn't see me, I couldn't see them. Utter garbage, of course, just like right now. He nearly soils himself when I yell. Elizabeth, there is no need for pictures. I am on the verge of needing a catheter myself. When I see Adam's reaction, it is too much. Elizabeth is doubled over in the corner of the room laughing, gasping for breath. Alexis scolds me, as we need to focus. I eventually regain my composure. I cleaned the end of his penis and applied some gel to the area. I said to Adam, "It's just lube. Now hold it upright." I am taunting him a little now, but I have to get my laughs one way or another. It's a shame the king's life is in danger, or I could milk the situation. I pulled out the actual catheter. Adam remarked that it looked like a long worm. I used every ounce of willpower I had to stop myself from laughing. You're right. I say, just as I start sliding it down his urethra. It's like a one-eyed worm, sliding down his one-eyed snake. Adam's face drops, turns pale and he starts retching, dropping Nathan's penis. What the hell, get out if you're going to be sick. Adam waves a hand at me, which I assume meant he would be fine. I finished inserting the catheter. When the urine starts flowing into the bag, Adam appears to regain his composure. I know he is not medically trained, but he offered to help. Elizabeth turns on the lights, so the observation gallery can see what we are doing. I started doing a top-to-toe assessment of his front. I shouted out as Elizabeth wrote it down. Head laceration, bruising to neck, dislocated left shoulder, 3 cracked ribs on the left, bruising across pelvis. A broken right tibia, but it could be fractured. He would have benefited from some x-rays, but any injured bones are secondary to the wolfsbane in his blood. The intravenous bags were nearly empty, so I asked Adam to empty the catheter bag while I changed the fluid bags. Elizabeth sends him a bowl for the urine. He looks at her. Seriously? Yes, seriously. She responds, before guiding him through how to empty the catheter bag. He does it reluctantly, retching as the urine starts flowing into the bowl. This never happened, do both of you hear me? We both laugh, but agree. We never saw anything. That is until he stumbles, falling on top of the bowl of urine. Howling with laughter would be the term here, and I would have been if Nathan's life wasn't in danger. I still didn't know what his blood results were, nor the full extent of his injuries. But I am keeping this in my memory for a good laugh later. Adam gets to his feet. He is covered in urine. Absolutely soaked, in fact. So is the floor. Adam started sobbing. Get out, you're making my job difficult. I said unsympathetically. He wants to help, but he really isn't. I replenish the intravenous fluids, careful not to slip in the puddle of urine I am wading through. I need some help down in here, please. I truly hope whoever comes next is as bad as Adam, because if they are, Nathan could be in big trouble. Chapter 31. Alpha Jackson's POV. Lucy and I were entertaining Florence when the windows of the pack house shook. I thought I was having a heart attack. I ran outside and shifted. My pack was in danger, and we hadn't fought in years. We are still the alpha of this pack. We will protect it with our lives if we have to. Ethan raced to the edge of the territory where I shifted. The Royal Guard were there already. There was an unexplained fog that no one seemed to be entering. I mind-linked my beta to bring Florence here. I knew the king was on his way, and if the Royal Guard were there, he would have to be involved somehow. What I wasn't expecting was to see Summer amongst them. I mind-linked her to find out what was going on. She told me that they were blaming the rogues for an attack on the king and that she had to go. She was needed. She cut the link after that. Now I don't particularly like Isaac. I have never hidden this fact. But during our interactions, he did everything he agreed to, but explosives are a bit too elaborate for him. Isaac is more of a hands-on person. His people live a simple life. Something doesn't feel right about this, Ethan tells me. I know, my friend, I know. I responded. Beta Gary pulls up with Florence with a set of clothes and my mobile phone. Beta Gary consoles Florence while I make a call. Isaac picks up immediately, questioning what sort of thing I am doing in my territory when his pack members are there. Isaac has always been true to his word, and he would not risk the women who are currently residing in my hospital. I told what little I knew. It wasn't us, me, Alpha Jackson, was all he could muster to say. I believe him and tell him to get his people moved. If the Royal Guard think it was Isaac's people, they will hunt them down. I will initiate the ones in the hospital into the pack today. They at least will be safe. It is in their best interest right now. They can leave after all of this unfolds. But right now, their safety should be your priority. He agreed, and I hung up my phone. I mind-linked Lucy, telling her what is going on, telling her to get to the hospital and the decisions that have been made. They will also need documents and residence. I emphasize that time is of the essence and to act quickly. Florence came up to me. I hugged her for comfort. She doesn't seem upset though, she seems kind of stoic. You can't dread something that hasn't happened yet. As a royal, your life is always in danger. Which is why he is usually surrounded by the best. Speaking of, where are they? I looked at her confused. His beta and protection detail? Like on cue, a big lad came tumbling out of the forest, covered in mud. The anger radiating off him was intense. He approached Florence, giving her a hug. "I couldn't get to him, Florence, the mist, I couldn't get to him. I'm sorry." "Nothing to be sorry for, Adam, but we need to get him out and find out what happened. Rain is over there. He may need your help." The lad ran off. I watched Summer and the royal guards enter the fog cloud. They were wearing suits. It's like an eternity before we knew anything was happening. In reality, it is probably only a few minutes, but it feels like an eternity. The thought of the king being assassinated in my territory. The kingdom would rip this place apart. No, I can't assume things like that. I tell myself I need to wait and find out what is going on. I can't panic yet, there is too much to do. We know something is happening when we hear the sound of metal dragging along the concrete ground. Next thing I know, Summer is in front of me, Florence is blaming the rogues. But Summer stands there defending them. She has never been one to judge others. It is a redeeming quality of hers. She only says what I am thinking, and now she is adding information to the puzzle when she tells us that he has been injected with wolfsbane. That confirms my suspicions. I firmly do not believe Isaac was involved in this. The king is placed on a stretcher on the back of a wagon. I know where they are going. I need to get there as well. My phone rings, it's a few seconds later from an unknown number. It's General Rain. Summer needs her kids brought to the hospital after they finish school and needs someone to look after them. I reassured him it would be done. If Summer asked for the moon right now, I would try my best to get it for her. I mind-linked the principal and told him what needed to happen and to get a teacher to stay with them. Of course, Alpha. But there is something strange happening with the Blackwood children today, they just seem a little out of character, compared to normal, that is. Just do as I ask, we have major problems and I need that to be done. I snapped at him, I don't have time for his minor issues, not today. I guided Florence to the observation gallery above the operating theater. Rain joined us after a few minutes. We just stand in silence at what is occurring below us in the theater. Summer looks annoyed as she removes her mask. The man assisting her looks like he is going to be sick at one point. I find out his name is Adam and he is the king's beta. Summer works quickly and efficiently as always. I assume Elizabeth can't get near him as she is standing at the edge of the room, passing and retrieving items. Summer warns us that we won't be able to see for a few minutes and blacks out the windows. We hear shouting, "What the hell is going on down there?" I trust Summer though, and after only a few minutes, the lights are turned back on. Adam looks like he has been sucking a sour lemon. Without any scans or tests, Summer has a list of his physical injuries. Before she gets started, Adam is emptying a catheter and Summer must have inserted it. Summer is setting up a new bag of intravenous fluids. While Adam was walking away with a bowl of urine, he stumbled and fell onto the floor, landing on top of the bowl. He just lays there, for a few seconds, lying in a puddle of urine. As he gets up it is dripping off him. What a mess it is down there. Summer will be fuming. She likes everything in its place and right now the place is swimming. Summer yells at him to get out and that she needs some help. Without question, Rain gets up and leaves the room. It was not long before Adam entered the observation gallery. I took this opportunity to leave myself. I had to get to the top floor, discreetly. I made a promise to someone, and I intend on keeping it, even if I don't like him. On my way upstairs, the school principal mind-linked me. Karen, one of the kids' teachers, is going to bring the Blackwood children to the hospital now, Alpha. But I don't have time for his concerns now. I need to protect my pack. Principal Adams, POV. I have had several reports that the Blackwood children are acting strange today. I mean, they often isolate themselves, but today, their teachers cannot get near them. They are saying their auras are really powerful. They shouldn't have auras, they are children. I have to see and report to the Alpha, if they do. But as I walked to the empty classroom where they were in, I can't enter without dropping to my knees. I have had one unexplained encounter with them before, and this felt a little like that. I backed out slowly. A huge explosion was heard, and I ushered all of the children into the hall in case of an attack, which was when Alpha Jackson got in touch with me, telling me to arrange for the Blackwood children to be taken to the hospital after school. I tried to tell him what was going on with him, but he snapped at me about having major problems. I guess this is a small issue if he has major issues. Karen, one of my newer teachers, offers to take the kids after school. She is the niece of my Delta and doesn't seem fazed by their aura. I tell the kids, they must like Karen as they get all excited, drawing their attention from what they are doing. Chapter 32. Beta Adams, POV. I knew that jackass was up to something. From the second he woke up this morning he was restless. He jumped into his red sports car and shot off. Didn't wait for me or the protective detail. I phoned the fucker and he just laughed at me, calling me a slow ass and that there was no chance of us catching him. He was right, of course, but only because of the head start he gained. I had to get my stuff and get back to the car. I have been his beta forever. We have known each other since we were kids. I know all of his secrets, even the family secrets I shouldn't know. I should have known he was going to pull a stunt like this. He is just excited to see his brother. After all, he hasn't seen Dawson for 3 years. I don't speed too much and it was quite a nice journey. That is until we got to a foggy area at the edge of Crystal Lake Pack. Where the hell is this? I got out and tried to go through it, but my wolf, Cooper, is refusing to allow our body to go anywhere near it. Where the hell was he? We can't go through. So we go around. I tell Cooper. I started trudging through the forest around the mist. I saw men running away, at least 6 of them. I would normally have gone for the chase, but I had to find Nathan, he was my priority. Eventually, I heard voices and made my way towards them. I see the Royal Guard, but above everyone else, I see Florence and make my way towards her. She appears calm, considering the Royal Guard is going crazy. That's when she tells me what is going on and that Rain is leading a rescue team. I made my way over towards him, but was stuck behind the guards watching the events unfold. Rain was just going into the fog as I got there. There was a smaller figure beside him as they entered. I don't know who that was. But Rain must have okayed it, otherwise what use is someone that small in this situation? I not only feel sick with stress, but also angry that jackass is never leaving my side again. If he survives this, I may just kill him, myself. Cooper is clawing at my mind. He is just as angry at me. But he can't go in that fog and it's pissing us both off. We are the King's beta, but we may as well be a useless pup right now, for the amount of help we're being. As the sound of metal dragging along the floor gets louder, his red sports car is on its roof. Rain lets the smaller person out of the car. Before the car is flipped upright, he opens the door, no doubt to get him out, when a woman's voice yells at everyone to stop. She holds something up to Rain's nose, and he has a look of disgust on his face. I can't get close enough to hear what is going on. But I hear the word wolfsbane from the guards who are closer than I am. Nathan's body was put on a stretcher in the back of a wagon. That's when I saw my friend for the first time since this morning. The woman who was fussing over him must be the doctor, in which way she is acting. Then she yells at me and Rain. Who the fuck does she think she is, yelling at us? Rian says some words of reassurance to her and she responds. Something I should know here? I ask. Half expecting Rain to say they had hooked up over the last week. I mean, she is very attractive and the man definitely has needs. I wasn't expecting or prepared for him to introduce me to his sister. I knew he had a sister who lived at his home pack with their parents, but not a living sister anywhere else. I quickly recall one time when he was upset. He said it would have been his sister's birthday on that date and he just needed the day to process that they were gone. But I assumed he meant gone, as in dead. But she was very much alive. Every year on that date, he would go off by himself. He looked like shit when he came back the next morning. But he never had to explain it to us again. He shouldn't have to. We all had our jobs to do, but we were friends. Her colleague had to back out of the wagon due to Nathan's aura. I volunteered to help in the theater. But I didn't know what I was letting myself in for. Blood draining, cock-holding and being showered in piss would not have been my first thoughts. As I was being kicked out of her theater, I looked at Nathan's lifeless body and felt like a failure. He was hurt, struggling to breathe, unconscious, wearing an oxygen mask, his scalp hanging off and being blood-covered in his blood. It was like looking at the shell of the man I had seen this morning. I didn't even care that I was wearing his urine. I would have given anything to have my friend smile at me with that yellow twinkle in his eye. Please, goddess, help him out here. I silently prayed to her. Rain took a picture of me as he walked past me. For Nathan later. I want to call him a fucker right now, but if Nathan wakes up, he can laugh at me all he wants. Heck, I will frame the picture if he wakes up. Chapter 33. Summer's POV. As I had no way of scanning or x-raying Nathan, I had to watch for Nathan's for any reactions to pain, letting his body tell me where it hurt. He was pretty knocked out, but I got a few twitches from him when I touched something that hurt. Rain walked into the theater room. Great, I could use someone competent here. The floor was nearly dry after Adam spilled urine all over it. To be fair, none of Nathan's wounds actually needed an operating theater, thank goodness. But we didn't know that at the time and everything I would need was in here so I could patch him up. It was also a clean, secluded area where I could work. Which is exactly what I want to do right now. The first injury was a dislocated shoulder. Both me and Rain knew how to handle this, we had dealt with it occasionally when we were younger. As Rain is taller than me, he lifted his arm and I used Alexis's strength to push the socket back into place. Nathan gave a small whimper, which is how I knew the wolf's bane was still in his system. That would have really hurt. I changed the bags of intravenous fluids. I wanted to push them harder, as that would help flush the wolf's bane out of his system faster. But I was worried about overloading his kidneys. I guess the wolfsbane would kill him first, so I would push the fluids until I knew what was going on with his organs. I strapped his leg. It was a temporary fix to keep his leg straight, but without confirmation, it could be a mild fracture or a broken leg. But he whimpers when I touch it. There was nothing I could do for his ribs, or his bruising. They would have to heal on their own. Hopefully, I can get his wolf back soon enough to deal with a lot of these issues. Now that head wound of his. His face was covered in blood. I removed his oxygen mask to see if his breathing was stable enough to leave off. It would be easier to work without it. But once I removed it, he started taking deep breaths, so I decided the oxygen would remain in place. I asked Rain to empty the catheter before we began. Rain was at least a bit more competent than Adam. Firstly, we needed to cleanse the area, so with plenty of saline and gauze I started wiping the blood from his face and hairline. Strange, I said, looking at Rain. Was there anything sharp in the car? Not that I can recall. The incision across his hairline. It's in a perfectly straight. Rain looks really confused. Something sharp was used to cut along his hairline. I carried on cleaning his face. It looks like someone has tried to scalp him. I didn't look up, but I could feel Rain staring at me. Are you sure? Look at the edges, there is no tearing or ripping of the skin. It's right along his hairline. There was either something sharp in the car that made a perfect incision right along here, or someone has used a knife trying to remove his scalp. I carried on cleaning his face. Regardless of what happened, I could still do something here. I carried on cleaning his forehead. I thought that was strange too. He had a scar just above his eyebrow. It's not often I see a wolves with scars. But I am sure I have seen that scar before, a long time ago. A long, long time ago, during a blue moon. When I was watching a man sleep. Wait, he had a twin. No one had mentioned Nathan had a brother. So maybe I am imagining things. It has been a while after all. I don't know them. Nathan's face is bruised, covered in blood, and he is wearing an oxygen mask. I don't actually know what he actually looks like. Maybe he did have a twin and he died. Fuck, if he is one of my mystery men, that would make him one of the kids' fathers. He is the king. Bigger fuck. I quickly scold myself for procrastinating. Get your head in the game, Summer, you can figure this out later. Right now you have a job to do right now. I scrubbed my hands, took a deep breath, rolled my shoulders, then decided to start. I lift the hair flap to clean underneath it. I don't want any dirt or particles causing an infection for him. As I was cleaning, I thought I heard a voice, a familiar voice yelling for her mommy. I carried on with my work thinking I had imagined it. Then I hear a woman's voice. Eden, boys. Where are you? I looked up at Rain. I am going to assume it was their teacher's voice. A teacher who was looking for my kids, who no doubt had run off from her. I stopped what I was doing and asked Elizabeth to turn on the speaker in the observation gallery. Can someone go and help Karen, please? Adam's voice answered. Who's Karen and what does she need help with? Seriously. Can anyone other than Adam please go and help Karen go and find my kids? Please. Florence responds. I will go as long as you look after my boy. Deal. Just don't let Adam go, he is either incompetent or seriously having a bad day. I said. He's actually a really good guy, Summer. I have known him for years. Well, I am not impressed. Rain chuckles as he looks up. Nah, he is just not used to working with a control freak. I glared at Rain, who just laughs at me. Chapter 34. Florence POV. Can anyone other than Adam please go and help Karen find my kids? Please. Are the words the doctor shouts out. I am the only other person here, so it had to be me. As long as you look after my boy. I responded. Really? I want to be down there holding his hand, letting him know I am here. But she is doing her best to save his life. I have never heard of wolfsbane being used in aerosol form, but I did hear that they had created an injectable version. But I never thought it would be used, as it had fatal results. No doubt the only reason he is still alive is because he has royal blood in him. He could really use Dawson right now. He is supposed to be here. Where is he? My gifts are fading, and I suspect at the end of this blue moon they will be gone, but we could use them now. I feel like kicking myself for never declaring to the kingdom that I gave birth to twins. It was my mate's idea though. It would allow one of the boys to a time to have a normal life at a time. It was also for the boys' safety. He would tell me that they were never seen together in public. It was 8 years ago when Dawson wanted to go in search of their mate. He decided to gain independence and come out of the shadows. I was worried, of course. But no one would suspect him of being royalty when Nathan was seen to be on the throne, more of a look-alike, I guess. I really couldn't stop him. A little bit of me agreed with his decision. Their lives would never be complete without her. Dawson always promised to find us during the blue moon though, especially when he realized how weak I was becoming. Right now, I feel as though I am on the brink of being human, and I don't know why. There has always been a female conduit in the royal family, a woman capable of transferring the power of the royals to other royal family members or their fated mates. That's how the bloodline has never died out. My heritage goes back centuries. If my gifts are gone, how will my boys help the family? It is really sad that the gifts bestowed upon my family by the goddess will just be gone. Right now though, I need to help the doctor who is caring for my eldest. I walked out into the corridor and shout for Karen. It's not ladylike to shout. But how else am I going to get her attention? No one answers. I wander down a corridor and hear giggling. My senses aren't what they used to be. Kaylee has been extremely low since our mate died. She was broken-hearted when he never came home that day. But I knew someone ran across a corridor behind me, so I headed in that direction. As I reached the door, I thought I saw someone enter. I saw another blur further down the hallway. Someone is toying with me, I think. I headed down the corridor after my second sighting. I am not letting this one get away. When I hear a girl giggling, my gaze goes directly towards the place the sound was coming from. Is this place haunted? I got closer to the giggling girl sounds. When I heard something hitting the floor, I glanced over before my body turned. I saw my twin boys as children. My jaw practically hits the floor, a vision of my past, my boys together. I must be hallucinating. I know I am not dreaming, I am definitely awake. Maybe the wolfsbane got into my system somehow. Kaylee also acknowledges what we are seeing. What is going on? My body responds by guiding my feet in their direction, my boys together. I can see the yellow rings in their eyes. I am that close when I hear the girl giggling again. I turn around and there she is, at the other end of the hallway. Or I should say, there I am at the end of the corridor. That's me, from a distance she looks like me, or like I did in my childhood. I turned. I definitely have to be hallucinating now. I head in her direction. I don't know what is going on, but she has the same wavy red hair I did before I started getting older. I am not that far away when I see her eyes have the yellow rings surrounding her pupils. She isn't me though. Nathan and Dawson are the same, only one of their eyes has the yellow ring around their pupil. But these boys, both of their eyes do, the same as the girl. A door slams, pulling me from my thoughts. I regain my composure. When I look back, she was gone. I look at the other corridor and the boys were gone too. Is this place haunted? Am I hallucinating or was that a vision? I don't know which. I just slid down the wall crying. Maybe the stress was too much after all. I don't know how long I sat there before Alpha Jackson finds me, pulling me to my feet and escorting me back to the observation gallery. I tell him I haven't found the children or their teacher. I let the doctor down. She is doing all of this for me, and I am letting her down. I have never felt like such a failure. He offers to go and find them, which I am grateful for as I am in no fit state right now. He escorted me back to the observation gallery. Adam just hugs me, telling me they are nearly finished and I will get to Nathan soon. I break down again. I don't know if it's about what just happened or that I will get to hold my son. Alpha Jackson returns quite quickly and informs the doctor that the kids are sitting in the canteen with Karen. They just went out for some air, and she panicked. Chapter 35. Summer's POV. We took Nathan to a room after we finished suturing his scalp back in place. The blood results came back and there was an extremely high dose of wolfsbane in his system. His body must be strong, very strong to survive that dose. What we really need now is for his wolf to regain consciousness and do his job and heal him. The only thing I can do now is to keep replenishing the intravenous fluids and get the wolfbane out of his system faster. Florence is there talking to him in a motherly voice, stroking his hand. Is there anyone you want me to contact, Florence? Other family members, friends or siblings perhaps? She looks at me. No, there is no one else. That's a unique scar he has on his eyebrow. I have only ever seen one before. How did he get it? He was taken as a child and held for ransom. She looks so sad. As royals, we are always being threatened for power or money. That time, it was for money. He was only 5 years old. She looked back at him. My poor baby. If he had been a year older, he would have had his wolf and I would never be reminded of that day. I am confused. Royals tend to get their wolves early as they need to be stronger and fiercer. That's interesting. How old approximately? Usually around 6 or 7 years old. She says. I nodded my head. I will get someone to get you some fresh clothes and a blanket if you're going to stay here for the night. I won't be leaving his side. I was really considering the possibility that Nathan was the triplets' father, but he doesn't have a brother and the kids haven't shifted, so they can't be him. I don't know if I actually wanted him to be their father or not. I mean, I have raised them alone for this long. I don't know what it would be like to share them. Anyway, I don't have to worry now that I have that information from Florence. Elizabeth teaches Rain how to hook up the fluids so that I can get a break at some point, so they should be kept running for quite a while. I go and check on the ladies upstairs. Alpha Jackson is in the process of moving them quietly to some new houses. One of the pregnant women, I think her name is Sonia, grabbed my arm. Isaac wouldn't do what they are accusing him of. I believe you, but right now for everyone's safety, you just have to play along. She looks at her swollen stomach, touching it. I guess for the time being we can do that. But we will be rejoining Isaac afterwards. He is the only one that ever cared about us all. I find my kids and Karen still in the canteen. They are all asleep on a couple of chairs, my poor babies. I recruited some help, and we carried them up to one of the vacant suites upstairs. Karen gets comfy on the sofa. I don't mind spending the night with them. Alpha says if I spend the night, I don't have to go to work tomorrow. Thanks, Karen, that would be great. Normally I would rely on Evie, but she is out of town. This way, I can leave at any point. I find Rain, telling him I am going to go for a run. He doesn't think it's safe as they haven't found the Rouges responsible yet. I will stay in the territory, I will be safe, I am sure of it. I told him. He is still not happy about me going, but I may not get another opportunity before the blue moon, and Alexis is really stressed about everything that is happening. I gave him a kiss on the cheek. You done good today. I told him. Can't have done much worse than Adam. He must be remembering what happened earlier in the day. You are certainly right there. I told him while shaking my head. I go and check my clinic at the church, in case anyone has stopped by. Thankfully they haven't. I go to the woods and shift. Alexis POV. It feels so good to stretch out my legs and shake my fur. Summer has not let me out often enough this week. I ran around for a few miles, stopping by the lake for a drink, catching a rabbit. Summer wasn't happy about hunting, especially when I ate it. But she didn't have a leg to stand on when I compared it to eating a steak. It would have been nice for Zen to join me, but I know his human brain has responsibilities. I say he's human, but Zen takes his responsibilities just as seriously. They would both have been on edge, seeing as it was the Wolf King had been attacked. It is great having my brother here. I don't want to think about what it will be like when he leaves, and how sad me and Summer have been recently. But that is a problem for another day. They are here and are not going anywhere for a short time. Now they know we are here, they will be back. I also think they will be back for the kids, especially the boys. They need a male role model in their lives. Tomorrow I will be dormant, so I may as well enjoy the night. I ran around for a bit longer before heading to our cliff. I sit there watching the moon rise. Summer whispers a few words into my mind. I feel her sadness as she does. I let out a slow long howl, conveying her message to the rest of her family. We lay down for a short while before I decided that I would go for another run, then I let Summer have her body back. I got up and shook off the dirt. I appeared to have been lying on, when I heard a rustle from a bush behind me. I took my fighting stance, lowered my head and started growling. Rain warned me not to come out, and I am starting to wish I had listened to him. From the bush, between the trees, jumped a big black wolf, with his tongue hanging out. Mate. Was all I could think, while adjusting my posture. My mate! I told Summer. She is elated, absolutely beaming in fact. He comes trotting over to me, standing right in front of me where I can see him, all of him. I looked into his eyes before I rubbed my head up against his neck. He does the same finishing when he licks my nose. I sneezed at this action. I am so happy. He is playful, friendly, and most importantly wants us. We play around for a while and go for a short run before returning to the cliff, where we mate. It's always been so important to me that I waited for my mate, and here he was. I love him already, he is mine. We mate several times before I fell asleep by his side. I slept with a smile on my face for several reasons that night. But unfortunately, all good things have to come to an end, as Summer wakes me at sunrise. Alexis, we have to get back to the kids. The only thing that we both value over everything is the kids, and she is right, we have to get back. Summer suggests that we bring the kids to meet our mate. What starts worrying me? What if he rejects our kids? Summer reassures me. If he loves us, he won't. In fact, if he doesn't love the kids, would we want him? If I am honest, no. We are a package, it's all of us or nothing. I agree with her. Chapter 36. Gale's POV. We had been traveling in our wolf form for days, and finally made it near Crystal Lake Pack. He said he would need to be in this territory by morning, as he had someone to meet. He did this before the last blue moon as well. I don't ask, I just take the opportunity to relax. We were near a stream where we could get water from and have a wash in the morning. The fire was lit, the rabbit was cooking. Overall, it should be a pleasant night. We were making our beds for the night, as in when we heard a howl. I ignored it, but Dawson was just starting in the direction it came from. I didn't hear it again. But what I did hear was one simple word, the word he had wanted to say for the 7 years I have been traveling with him. Mate. He shifted in front of me, his clothes tearing right off, and took off. I would normally have followed him. That was my original job, after all, to protect him. But after all of these years, I think of him more than a friend than the guy who once offered me a job. But if his mate is involved, I am going nowhere near that situation. I will find him in the morning if he doesn't come back tonight. I am just finally glad he has found her. All of these years traveling around and nothing. I think he was finally starting to give up that she was ever out there. I eat my food, climb into my sleeping bag and drift off. Dreaming of the day I may find my own mate. Dawson's POV. Rabbit again for our evening meal. I mean, it's better than starving, but still. We have eaten a lot of rabbit recently. I glanced over at Gale, thankful that he was here though. When I invited him to join me on my mission to find my mate, I never actually thought he would say yes. I had spent nearly a year alone, it was very lonely, but here we are, 7 years later. He once told me that he was on the verge of going rogue as there was something he disagreed with in his pack, so I guess this is a step up from that. What he doesn't know and has never known is that he has been sleeping opposite a king for all these years. A king who was on a mission. We were preparing our sleeping bags for the night. When I heard it, I heard her. Mate. Was the word both me and Hayden said at the same time. I just stared in the direction it came from. It's her, we have finally found her. I said to him. Why are you standing here, you idiot? Go. I shifted so Hayden had control, he would get to her faster and be able to sniff her out. I still don't know where she is. Hayden's POV. Where did it come from? Where is my mate? I am running through the forest but can't find her. I keep running until it hits me, the most amazing scent, vanilla and coffee. 2 of my favorite things, I just didn't know how much until this second though. I follow the scent, glad I am in this form and not human, my senses are a lot stronger than Dawson's. It is getting stronger as I get closer to the cliff edge. Why is my mate at the cliff edge? I bounce out from behind a bush and there is the most beautiful wolf in the world, my mate. I wouldn't care what she looks like, she is mine. But I am practically drooling at how stunningly beautiful she is, all white with black paws with black on her chest and her size. Oh, my goddess, she is the size of an alpha, which is really fitting. She looks like she is about to attack me, gosh she looks fierce. Beautiful and fierce. Where has she been all of my life? I go to her, how could not? She is my mate. I am so happy I found her, hoping she accepts me. I never even thought about whether she would reject me. I think I might die if she did. There was no need to worry though, as she rubbed her head up against my neck. I reciprocate happily. Licking her, tasting her as much as possible. Best taste in the world. Then she breaks the joy by sneezing on me. It was so cute. She makes me feel like a kid in love, she is mine and I am so happy. We went for a run. I haven't enjoyed a run in ages and I can't take my eyes off her. She guides us back to the secluded cliff where we have another little play, before I mated with her. It is the best feeling in the world, my fated mate and me joined together. Tomorrow, Dawson will mark her, and she will officially be mine. Wait hours, I can't wait to tell Christian and Nathan, they will be so happy. We made it until she fell asleep. I moved closer to her, just to feel her next to me, her fur was so soft. I licked her ear. I am so content right now. That is until I woke up and she was gone.